Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have a very intriguing topic talking about the sustainability and the longevity of Xbox as a whole, and how Xbox kind of seems like they need the PlayStation, the Switch, Steam, and all these other outside resources to kind of maintain profits and make the Xbox as a long-term project actually a valuable, profitable company. Now, we're going to go a little bit of a deep dive in this one because there's a few different directions to go and take, but I did think this was kind of fun to look into, talk about, discuss, and I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on everything down below. So make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room as well down below. And of course, I don't know, just hope you have a good day. So when it comes to Xbox, I'm sure you guys know, they've been switching their kind of more business overall into more of like a publisher. They work into Game Pass. They're trying to go make as much money as they can and go more on that subscription-based service. Makes a lot of sense. This worked kind of well for Amazon, for things like PlayStation Plus, or even things like Netflix mainly, etc., because you can basically get a lot of people consistently giving you money. And when it comes to gaming as a whole, that is a big thing to get. Consistent income to basically help with like server costs, game production, or whatever, and Xbox hasn't been really known for making the most games. Now, as of the most recent Xbox showcase, they've done pretty well, and I think so. And of course, now with them owning, say, like Call of Duty, they'll have a lot more brand new games coming out very consistently, or things like World of Warcraft, etc., along with everything else over there too from, Bethesda. But one thing to note is that it seems like Xbox as a whole is doing okay, but they need to go and have these other outside consoles to go and sell their products, or even try to go future sell Game Pass and bring it up over here. Now, it's been a very intriguing article, and we've kind of been seeing this floating around a little bit too when it comes to Game Pass, saying that Xbox needs to embrace PlayStation and Nintendo for sustainability, says the former executive. Former Microsoft executive Mike Ibarra has stated that the sheer size of Microsoft's gaming now warrants having some Xbox games on PlayStation. Although note, they only said some, not all, and I do kind of agree they still probably want to have timed exclusives. I've been pretty consistent on that. And Nintendo platforms. Ibarra's comments follow confirmation by Xbox boss Phil Spencer that more of the company's first-party games will be going multi-platform in the future. Which, if you really do always think about it, multi-platform is how you make money. May not be able to go and sell Game Pass on every other platform, but if they have a Game Pass alternative, and they have a PC, they will most likely go and spend $10, $11 to go get Game Pass and not buy the game on PlayStation or the Switch, which is what I do. I can confirm, I do that. And at the same time, you may not even have an Xbox console. But as well, if you have all these expensive games like the Indiana Jones games or Gears of War or whatever, then guess what? You may not always make that money back. Now, some people like Game Pass, I'll probably use Game Pass, but as well, some people, if they put it on PlayStation, will buy the game. We were hearing rumors on like a Halo remake, which if you guys want to hear more details on that, let me know in the comment section down below as more and more details come out. But it would make sense. It's just like you have 60 million consoles on the PlayStation and many, many more on the Switch too when it comes out. Why not sell games there? And most people agree. I would agree. Like, why not? And I think Xbox is finally realizing that. But that kind of puts a little bit of a caveat to it, where that means that Xbox, for a long term, if they're not selling as many Xbox consoles, which they're kind of losing this console war on that, they need to go make sure that they're buddy-buddy with PlayStation. And that also does help because they do have Call of Duty and all these other bigger games like Diablo, Overwatch, etc., which does make money everywhere. But at the same time, they still need to make sure they're going to be happy. And they need to become the world's largest publishers, I've been saying for quite some time, with Xbox games on PlayStation and Nintendo. So Ibarra, who spent 2 decades at Microsoft, acknowledged concerns about the future of Xbox hardware. By fans, once more, first-party games go multi-platform. However, he's of the view that Microsoft gaming is beyond the point of hardware sales and needs to focus on his ambition to be the world's largest publisher. And I've been saying this for like years now at this point. Makes sense. Sell Game Pass to PC users. PC is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Consoles are still nice, but they're not as required. And of course, sell games on PlayStation because PlayStation's going to get their own split by hosting those games. Maybe not as much as you probably would get, but for Call of Duty or Indiana Jones or Gears of War or Fable, like maybe you'll still make money. So I really do think the ideal strat is you are Xbox, you have Game Pass, you release games day one on Game Pass. So any game like say Call of Duty, you'll most likely get more people on PC or on Xbox getting it day one for cheaper. And ideally you'd have them kind of, on the reoccurring subscriptions, which is kind of good. Like they have a good profit driver to go and get people on Game Pass, which maintains Game Pass subscribers, maintains long-term money, and of course, with all these brand new games, they're going to get new games all the time, or even just games like Call of Duty may just maintain Game Pass numbers, which they actually have been running out of issues with this. So we're going to talk about that in a second. And then obviously, too, when it comes to other various things, PlayStation as a whole can maybe get these exclusive games as a timed exclusive. So Xbox will have it for 6 months or a year, resell the games on PlayStation on, say Steam, on, say, the Switch, depending on how the game runs, and you're kind of good for there. Easy peasy. So you have to put emotion aside and focus on the teams, players, and business, and make hard decisions, Ybarra said. Given the size of Microsoft gaming now, it's just not sustainable to not be embracing all platforms. They are taking their players in this journey, and that is not easy, but this is the right plan for their teams and players, which makes sense. You get more people on Game Pass, good. You offer a good product, good. You go and sell games on PlayStation, everyone wins, makes money. Good. And we kind of test this out already. And this kind of makes sense too because we've even been seeing news where Xbox Game Pass is running out of people to basically get new subscribers. If they're going to go all in on this, Call of Duty is going to be a good one. Like, we'll really be able to go and see if Game Pass is doing well or not if we have a huge influx of Game Pass subscribers and consistent Game Pass subscribers. That's like the first test. But let alone any other game that might come out too as well. Like, we had a pretty big swell of new games like Gears of War, which will most likely have multiplayer. So we'll have more people maybe on Game Pass for that. Fable, OG game, might bring people to Game Pass for the very first time. Games like Call of Duty, huge game every single year, and also all these updates and everything else, and DLCs and map packs, whatever, if they're included on Game Pass, is gonna be huge, let alone with Starfield and all these other various big games. So while Game Pass might be kind of tapering down, and has been for a while, with the occasional uptick, say for Starfield or whatever, this might be the start for them having that consistent. And once again, the idea makes sense. Like, the logic behind it makes sense. Xbox has Game Pass. It's a cheaper alternative. People pay money to save money, and they go to PC and Xbox. As PC expands, they go get more people on Game Pass. And anything else that's extra that would sell well, put it on the other consoles. So a good example is like, I don't know, like say like the Astro's Playroom. That game would probably do pretty well on the Switch. It fits the vibe, Switch handheld stuff. So if Xbox had a similar based game like that and put on the Switch, it might sell well. And a good example, say for Starfield, that'll probably sell well on PlayStation because why not? It wasn't that bad of a game. Halo and all these other various games will revitalize these games' communities quite a bit and drive more people on it. And that's all you really need. And I think that's big. Like, Game Pass is a big deal. Like, we want Game Pass to be getting all these games day one and bumping stuff on up. And that's a big issue because we just want these games. Like, we saw this. Game Pass was positively rocking up in subscriptions during the COVID era, when mass lockdowns were causing surges in boredom and, in turn, spending. So basically, a lot of these big reports were 25 million, and it took them a little bit later to even get 34 million. But once again, people are going to unsubscribe. They have conversions from the old school Xbox Live from back in the day. And of course, like, we haven't seen any major releases on Xbox in quite some time. So who's really on there? Now, once again, with Call of Duty coming out soon, I'm sure that's going to bump it up millions, without a doubt. But how long will those millions go and stay? That's like the real question. And we also want to see how good everything else does as well. But I do agree. I do think Xbox needs these games. They're saying, hey, how do you feel about the Xbox strategy compared to your thoughts on the PS5 strategy a few weeks back after the Showcase and Phil Spencer interview? I feel great about the show and the strategy Phil is talking about in the press. As Phil said, I'm going to go for the big expansionist one, but they basically said, as Phil said in an interview, more and more of their games will be going to platforms. Other platforms over here. He's obviously referring to the PS and Nintendo. Being the world's largest publisher of great games everywhere is the foundational goal they must embrace. They must make great games that sell and drive player interest in every device available. The games are the platform going forward and the social graphs, etc. Look, I get hardcore Xbox console fans want exclusives and want Xbox hardware to rule them all. Having worked on many Xbox consoles myself, I admit I have mixed emotions on it. I love Xbox. You got to put emotion aside and focus on the teams, players, and business, and make hard decisions. Given the size of Microsoft gaming now, it's not just sustainable to not be embracing all platforms, which makes sense. It costs a lot of money to make a game nowadays, so how do you make that money back? Game Pass, for your own self, best margins. Selling on Xbox, secondary best margins. And then as well, selling on PS5 and Switch afterwards as well for kind of getting that double dip. They're taking their players in this journey, and that is not easy. But this is the right plan for their teams and players. You have no insider information, but I wouldn't do hardware directly going forward. You have tons of third-party hardware companies making PC handhelds. Embrace them and focus on making great games while making Windows good on these devices. And I'd probably say too as well, like it depends on what they want to do in the future. I still think at least 1 or 2 more Xboxes are in the works, but it's intriguing to go and see other people too as well. So I don't know, give me your thoughts. I do think Xbox needs PlayStation and the Switch, maybe more than people expect, and I'm kind of excited to see the future of the gaming where everything is kind of coming together. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, and I appreciate you all very much for watching here in the first place.